Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. Tonight it's going to be what did Joe think about The Walking Dead season finale and the most recent episode of Vikings, season 5, episode 4. Now, I'm really happy tonight because I didn't have to do any work tonight. Joe has been up all night taking notes, doing push-ups. He's like Ivan Drago. He's getting Katie Crow sticking him with weird steroids and shit to pump him up for his excitement. He's gonna really fool you guys, and he's got some interesting thoughts tonight about The Walking Dead. No, Joe, in full disclosure, told me right before we started that he's literally falling asleep. So I'm trying to keep Joe awake with my pep and stupid vinegar, but everybody, enough of you came. I could pull it up right now, the comment section of The Walking Dead mid-season finale recap show. And I exaggerate about this, you know, we're a small, humble channel that we're lucky enough to have so many people in the live motherfucking chat joining us tonight and joining us throughout. And we're humbled any way we're able to grow even just a little bit. But I do have to say, I am not exaggerating to say that 25%, maybe 30%, maybe 50% of the comments in the comment section was Phil, you know, Walking David, great job. But what I really need to know is, what did you think? What did Joe think? What did Joe think? Was it good or did it really fucking sick? That's what they all want to know. We want to know what Joe thinks. In fact, you know, in some newer shows or movies and stuff, when I speak my mind, everyone wants to know. They want to know. Was it all right or did it drive it? Was it all right or did it drive it? We all want to know. So I woke Joe up. You know, he worked hard last night, got barely much sleep, and I drove over to his house. I was like, "No, Joe, you got to get up here tonight on this podcast and tell us a little bit." And his first response to me when he said he has to talk about The Walking Dead was, "I don't remember." Well,
I don't remember The Walking Dead last week. Was there an episode? There was an episode, wasn't there?
There was an episode of The Walking Dead, the mid-season finale.
Honestly, I'll break it. This is what I remember from The Walking Dead last week. This is the things that stuck out in my mind that have carried me through a week now, and that's close-ups of everybody's face in slow motion. Shoot me in the fucking face. What a waste of 30 seconds of my life to go through all those. Seemed like an eternity. And number two, Carl died a week too late, 2 weeks too late. Why didn't they just why did they just let us see him get bit?
Right. And Joe, I think essentially that's probably what we're going to be talking about the most here tonight, the reaction and the whole situation with Carl dying. You and me have gone on at nauseum, as some people would probably say, about how the show has somewhat lost its balls, lost a sense of reality where the walkers can get anybody. They got somebody, anybody, Carl. How did you think that was done on the show? You kind of just hinted at it there.
Horribly. Like, I don't know. Some people rewatched and said that they definitely saw Carl get bit, but when I only watched it once, that's all I could stomach to watch it. I didn't see him actually get bit in that scene. It would have been a much bigger deal. I think more than just a couple of people would have seen it and would have had to rewatch. It wouldn't have had to rewatch to see it. So instead, they take what should have been like a really powerful, impactful moment. They just kind of like strip it from us. And it just goes to show you, yeah, what are you thinking, Rick? This is the kid you sent in charge, the kid that goes wandering around alone by himself in Zombieland and has been in this situation many times, almost getting bit like that while he's out on his own. Glad he finally did. Fucking putz boy.
Now, also on top of that, we'll talk a little bit more directly about the episode and get Joe's thoughts on the episode direct. And thank you to everyone: Cattigat, E. Martinez, Iron Throne, John Wayne, Anticlimactic Ending, Terrible Fight Between Negan and Rick. We got the Justin Thomas show, Justin Thomas in the live motherfucking chat. Lots of love to Justin. Great, good vibes to all you guys in the fucking chat joining us this Sunday evening to hear about what Joe thought about this episode of The Walking Dead. And also, we do want to hear your comments as well. If you have any questions for Joe, specific questions or comments, you can always text in at 781-990-8509. Also, leave a voicemail on that number as well, or call and leave a voicemail on that number, or jump in the live chat as well, and I'll try to get your comment or question. So associated with the Carl situation, this is a little bit outside of The Walking Dead itself. And we usually don't talk about stuff like this, but this kind of got a little bit of press just because right after the episode, I don't know if you heard anything about Carl's father's reaction to the situation.
going to college and yada yada, all that shit. And
Yeah, basically he put a post out. And I'm not one to talk about posts and stuff, but it's kind of funny. I more mean it from a funny standpoint. The night that the episode came out that said, I never trusted The Walking Dead. I never trusted Scott Gimple. Chandler did. They told him he'd be around for 3 years, and they decided to kill him at the last minute.
Asked him to stay around for 3 years. He said, I'd love to, but I want to go to college. 2 weeks later, they fired him.
Is that I didn't dig into it too much. My question is this. Did they react to us in this? Did they at the last minute go, we need to do something to get some balls here? Who can we kill to get some balls? And then the last minute decide Carl. And do you think it was the right person to pick for maximum emotional benefit?
What I don't think there was any emotional. There was no emotion behind it. It was this whole episode, and then, oh, by the way, Carl got bit the other day. Like when he's limping around through the fog, weren't you like, why is he limping? All he did was fall down. Like, did he even fall down? A blast went off in the background, but like, why is Carl limping all of a sudden? That's all I could think. And then like they were like, oh, here's your son. Now then he's sick on the ground. It felt off. It felt stupid. It felt rushed and hurried. Like, I don't know. I just like the fucking trash people. What a big surprise there. I remember them running off like, oh, they're out.
Right. So
glad we brought them back. Why the fuck did Rick go talk to them again?
The last episode you and I talked about was how most of that episode was dedicated to Rick talking to the trash people and then getting captured and all that sort of shit. Ultimately to lead up to, once they faced some adversity, running the fuck away, Joe. So that ended up being absolutely for fucking nothing.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yep. Wonderful. Maybe you can go have another Thunderdome fight and talk with trash.
They're gonna be back next season with the Muppet babies, Joe, dancing around. Trash people. Let's go to the live motherfucking chat for a second here. Justin Thomas says, I think it was a good move. No joke. They finally put some stakes back in the game. I think it's a good thing to try to put back into some level of fear. I absolutely see what you're saying there in base concept. I just think in execution, it failed on all ends in public relations for the show. And I know people hate when I talk about this crap, but I don't give a fuck. They fucking told you it was a big shock. And when you tell someone that, over expectations are everything. Why did they have to build that up? Was it such a shock that they had to build us up to it? And I think that, again, just deballed, again, any possibility for emotion unless you lived in a bubble and didn't know what was coming. Because they basically told you, even in the commercial break, don't worry, it's coming up. The second that you're going to talk about.
And you know why it was a big shock? You know why they said, get ready for a big shock, everybody? Because you saw the entire fucking scene where Carl supposedly gets fucking bit and he doesn't get bit in that scene. So of course it's a big shock that the next episode that you wait 60 minutes for where's my shock again? And no fucking shock happens. And then they're like, oh, look at my bitten belly. Stupid. It was stupid. It was another stupid death. It was, yeah, don't forget the walkers are a danger, even though we spent the whole half season all, oh my God, there's 20,000 walkers outside. But the moment they come through the wall, which everybody's afraid of, they just easily blast their way through them all. Why were they all like, and Gabriel and fucking Jeffrey Dean, they have fucking fight their way through them to get back into the compound. It was that. Why is everybody scared of them? They don't make any sense with this walker threat. It's either a threat or it's not a threat. They can't have it both ways. And they play it up like this big fucking threat, and then nobody fucking dies from a walker forever. And they're like, oh, look, Carl died. See,
not even yet.
Not even a threat.
David and I were joking about that. He's going to be in the next episode, and I wouldn't be surprised if Gimple caves to the pressure of. I was going to mention this at the end. There's people with a fucking petition, bring Carl back. I mean, give me a fucking break.
Why? Why bring him back? As far as I know, by the end of the whole third compendium, I know there's been books published since the third compendium came out, a year's worth, a year and a half's worth, or whatever. But like, by the time that like, there's not. they could make any other character do the shit that Carl does coming up.
Even if I was a Carl fan, I'd applaud The Walking Dead for getting this character off the show right now. No, or just the fact you'd want the show to have some balls. So again, in concept, I understand what Justin Thomas is saying there. I just think in execution, it fucking failed.
You want to know what would have been a bigger shock, a better shock, is if instead of when they went back to the fucking hilltop and Maggie shot one of them, Maggie shot them all. Maggie shot every single fucking prisoner in that camp because fuck you, Negan. I ain't gonna feed these fuckers, and fuck them all. Because fuck them all. Straight up. That was the plan. That's what we're getting back to. This was ridiculous. You saw what they're going to do. You saw what they threatened to do. You saw what they did do, everybody. This is fucking war. We are not taking these prisoners. We are not wasting a morsel of food on them, because the moment Negan comes here and sees them, or we have to release them, they're all going to turn around and want to fucking kill us. So let's kill these 12 in this cage right now. Not just one of them. Not just one of them. And certainly not any of them that aren't the loudmouth fucking cocksucker in the fucking back.
And everybody, here you go.
What did you think?
There you go.
What did you?
Like, that would have been a much better ending than just her coming back and shooting one and then like, oh look, Carl's dead. Carl's a walking dead man.
So let's jump into the chat. K Rich says zero emotion. Carl was pointless. He had a rambless homeless man introduced to produce a random walk in the woods. E Martinez says, and Timo, great to see Timo in the live motherfucking chat. E Martinez asks, what is Rick's motivation to survive now? Carl was supposed to be his major driving force for survival. Rick has to die since they went this route. Do you think Rick has any, because Shane's daughter, I guess? Judith? What is Rick's major motivation? Is revenge? He's gonna go the revenge route, but he's somehow gonna blame Negan for what happened to Carl, maybe. So
she doesn't have any leverage anyway. Do you think Negan, Atari Dad, if she kills them all, she has no leverage? She has them all in there, and when Negan shows up and says, "Oh, release my guys," what? She's gonna say no, or I'll kill him. Like, it's not really leverage. You really think Negan cares about those 12 people? Do you think he even knows who they are? I think he already wrote them off. I haven't seen them in 2 days. They haven't checked in. They're probably already dead. So you really think Negan gives a shit? Negan's ready to kill everybody to get what he wants. So if they die to get what I want, then they die to get what I want.
Oh, yes, we got Lola in the live chat and our Atari Dad in there as well. People are overlooking the one big reason why they need to kill Carl. Chandler Riggs can't pass for 14 forever. Timo says, I would be slightly more impressed with the episode if Simon ended up killing Jerry instead of that hillbilly number 38. Do you remember that part of the episode, Joe, when it looks like Simon is going to execute one of the people, and they got that guy Jerry, who is the Ezekiel's number one, lined up, and instead of killing Jerry in that moment, as it looked like in the scene, they kill the hillbilly dude that has the damn right comment. You damn right, kids, I'm gonna kill you in the back. In that situation, was that another example of a moment when the show could have done something more? So that moment, and also you mentioned earlier the Maggie moment where she shot someone in the face. That didn't impress you, that Maggie finally stepped up?
No, she should have shot them all. She should have shot them all.
Love you, Lola.
Not just one of them, all of them. There was no reason to not kill them all. None whatsoever.
And sorry, I'm getting caught in the live motherfucking chat. You guys are fucking amazing as always. My problem with them killing Carl is the Carl comic storyline. Carl was going to get his comic story arc ready, but now it's done and gone.
Do you give that storyline to Enid? They can give that storyline to anybody. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't necessarily have to be Carl that does that storyline. I'm not exactly sure of the entire story. I haven't read past the Compendium 3, which ends after this war. And they're like a year later. Some shit. So
Lola says, Joe, no, kill them all. Cattigat says, Joe, no, not Enid, please. No, not Enid, no. Who will knife Carl in the back of the head? Atari Dad says, I'm honestly surprised that Chandler Riggs has passed as that young for so long. I'm convinced that he's taking growth stunting drugs like back in the 80s.
Carl goes from like this gung-ho, I'm going to go kill Negan myself, to peace and love, and let's just get over this, Dad. Let's not kill anybody. Why can't we leave? And all this weird fucking shit. Like, I don't see who didn't see this coming, like, with that big of a turn from it just. And I'm sorry, but that kid's in charge? Really? You left and we weren't kidding? We weren't kidding that the little fuck's still wearing his daddy's fucking cowboy fucking cop hat from Georgia? We're leaving him in charge? The kid that can't stay in fucking town? The kid that can't follow a single fucking direction week after week after week after week? This is like the stupidest fucking kid. He not too long ago, it was borderline as to whether or not he was a complete fucking sociopath. And now it's like, that's all right, Carl. We know you've been through a lot, but you're in charge now. While I go and kill Negan. Oh.
Walking David, watch out. Whoa, Walking David, watch out. Go, Joe. Nice. Joe, I'm impressed.
Show while I'm gone, Carl, but I'll be back soon to help you fuck the rest of my town over the way you need it done. But don't worry, Carl. I'll suck the poison out of your wound. Just take your shirt off, Carl. It smells bad, Carl. I'll heal you, boy. I'll heal you.
Oh, Joe, awesome. Joe's kicking ass with the Rick Grimes impression. Maybe they can do the kid from the Kingdom. Carl goes the suspended animation. Timo says Carl was a dumbass, still bothering walkers. He deserved to die that way.
Yeah. Why not just avoid him, Carl? Like the two of you. You don't even know. So you see this kid take out one walker, and yeah, he's been alive for this long, but you don't know how many people he was with before last week when you fucking met him. But you decide, let's go fight 6 walkers with them. Like, you see him take out one with a trap he devised. Like, it just doesn't.
Hannibal says, I remember
understand any of it. It doesn't make sense. It felt stupid. It felt rushed. It felt pasted together. It felt all these stupid things. It felt like a waste of a fucking episode. Every time, like, face after face after face, like the slow motion shit. Like, what was that supposed to invoke in us? It literally felt like we don't know what to do. So
it was supposed to evoke. It was supposed. Joe, I know exactly what it was supposed to evoke. It was supposed to evoke sales because they could fit more commercial breaks in, and that's why they had a bunts out the episode to 90 minutes instead of having it just be a regular hour episode. We fucking crazy shit. I remember Carl loved the pig, says Hannibal. We got Carl's weak ass still can't take out 2 walkers if he has a gun. Guarantee the kid has. They're going to do a time jump. No joking. You sounded like old man Vince McGill impression, old man Rick impression, says Atari Dad. Great to see so many new faces in the live chat right now. Ducks, great to see. We have not started talking about Vikings quite yet. A little bit more The Walking Dead, and then we'll switch over to talk about the most recent episode of Vikings. And we got King McKay, who in the live motherfucking chat right now, told you it's the Gimple effect. Hope Chandler gets acting better gets better at acting after college. All that breathing in between lines when he's not even being chased. They need to have a choral action figure with.
He was starting to get the fever from the. Remember how long they dragged out in season 1 the dude that got bit that they left on the side of the fucking road? Remember how long they dragged out him being sick and dying from his bite? How long are they going to drag out Carl's for? I mean, they brought on the sickness pretty quick. Like 1 second he's fine walking through town barking orders. This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. The next fucking scene we see him in, he's like, oh, I'm talking to Negan. In the very next scene, he's limping and can't walk, and in the very next scene, he's ashy and can't breathe, talking to his dad. It's ridiculous. It's like the fastest. Like, they're like, quick. We're gonna, I bet there will be some sort of like time jump, and that wouldn't even make sense because wouldn't Negan be trying to fucking kill them all over the next like couple of days, do all the shit that he needs to do? It makes no sense. It's fucking hard. Like, as far as I'm concerned, this is way not just the killing of Carl, but just the way this played out is way off book.
And you kind of hinted at it. Timo saying in the live chat right now, I'm just dreading. Walking David and I talked a little bit about it in the recap. Excuse me. I'm dreading how long Carl's death will be dragged out. I mean, oh my God, more doom and gloom for our group. Chandler Riggs has said, or they're hinting that it was only be one episode. But as we know, The Walking Dead told Chandler Riggs that he was going to be there for 3 seasons, and then they say, be prepared to die. So who knows what they're actually going to be doing when they go back to production. So I agree. The last 3 seasons, or I might be exaggerating, the last 2 seasons have been a couple of weeks. Is that part of the reason why The Walking Dead isn't as interesting, because time isn't moving at normal speeds? If they actually progress the story, would that help a little bit, Joe?
No, they have to write a compelling story. That's what's going to help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here we are. Think about where we were at the opening of the second half of last season. Think about where we were at the opening of the first half of this season, and think about where our characters are now. Pretty much the exact same spot, minus a few buildings of Alexandria.
Yeah, not much has changed. Not a ton of development has happened, or great character moments that can define the early half of Walking Dead since they've reached Alexandria. I think a lot of people want to look, or it's an easy place to look with the Glenn Dumpster stuff. But I think there was some cool stuff before that point, and there's been some stuff after. But I think once they reached a place and they started to bring in more of the other societies and other groups into things more of a focus, I think that's when we lost some of our direct intensity of the show. Maybe.
Well, it's not just that. It's,
for me, anyways.
It's also it's the you know what they've done in each of these episodes, and it starts. You know, Carol goes out on her fucking walkabout. She goes from like in the snap of a finger, going from like hard ass bitch warrior to I'm a pacifist. And I just
it goes right from the episode where she saves them from Terminus to, and I talked about this before. Carol is too strong. We need to Peter Petrelli nerf her. She has too many powers. We need to take away all her powers. How can we do that? Oh, that device works for everybody.
And that's exactly what they're doing. They're going through all of them. Now we've done it with King Ezekiel. We're doing it with Morgan for a second time. We did it with Carol. Carl just is now gone through it to the point where he's now bitten. Are we going to have like another Rick's been teetering back and forth between the two of this bullshit? It's that like you have one character go off the handle and you have another character talk him down. In the very next fucking episode, the talker downer becomes the off the handle and someone else talks him down. The very week after that, the new person that talked him down becomes the fucking basket case. It is absolutely disgusting. It's a TV trope that's been used in countless non-serial episodic television shows for fucking decades. And if you don't recognize it, nobody can fucking help you, and you still love this show. I don't know how many, every season of SVU or Law and Order whatever, or CSIs or any of those shows, they do it. There's those we're going to do it with these 3 characters this season, these 3 characters next season. It's formulaic, and it's absolutely fucking disgusting. And The Walking Dead has a history, which is changing rapidly, of being better than formulaic television.
And Atari Dad says, just to go to your point about how they change things up, can kind of see why Kirkman wanted to plant their roots in Alexandria. If every place they go to just ultimately falls, and the entire series would just be a long, hopeless drag of each situation being a place that they're at, and then it explodes. So I agree. They broke out the norm of they could have just stayed at the prison. They could have stayed here. But I think Joe said it perfectly, and I guess I didn't embellish enough, that it's not just the location. I think that's just a flagpole event, which to me symbolizes when the writing kind of got a little stale and they got a little bit too comfortable in their bridges there to what they were writing about, and they had the safer surroundings. So you started to lose some of the time clock feature of the show that was there. I'm not talking about 24 with the ticking clock. I just mean the fact that there is no solid ground. So now that you have these solid grounds, it's turned into more of a turf battle on some points, and the walkers are just pieces in the board that you can use as weapons here and there, and not really the threat to get you unless you want to make your characters stupid. And again, with the Carl situation, someone said this earlier, they had to create a situation of him helping out someone randomly and then doing this ridiculous situation a couple of episodes ago that got him bit, where it's like where the kid believes that if you kill the walkers or releases the souls or some crap, and then they're going around. Carl's like, that's, first of all, says, that's stupid. You shouldn't believe that. We don't have to fall into our parents' traps. And then when they're walking away, feels bad and goes, okay, we'll kill some walkers. And then gets himself bit.
Skipping through the walker farm. Let's go.
Yeah, let's kill some five. Let's go. Yeah, not too late. And he goes against what his point is, what he made the point 3 minutes later of the episode. So I appreciate at least some.
Which also goes against the point he finds out and learns himself when he doesn't kill the walker in the woods and it comes back and eats Dale.
Mm-hmm.
And so he learns you kill them all. And somehow we all forgot that. And we don't kill them all anymore.
At least in this situation, he got himself killed instead of someone else again. And I think they should just try to put some hydrogen peroxide on the bites. I think it could come. Simplicity, says Annabelle.
And they reminded me this episode of exactly what is fucking wrong with this whole Alexandria shit in the first place, and this whole fucking storyline, and how fucking stupid it is. Aaron says, oh, I'm whining about my lover. When we used to go out on the fucking drives to bring people back to Alexandria, we'd be gone for weeks, he says. He's explained this many times. In all the times that you went out, and all the times that everybody fucking went out, and nobody ever heard of the Saviors. Nobody ever heard of the Kingdom. Nobody ever heard of all the. You were out for weeks. You were miles and miles away in that direction, in this direction.
I didn't even think about that. Guess they just sucked at their job.
Like there's 3 other communities that are all within maybe like an hour drive or so, right? That
say what you want about Glenn and Maggie or Jadzia and Worf back there. They got shit done. They could be a couple and go out and actually get shit done and learn information, solve a plan. It seems like Aaron and his boyfriend were going out there having fun and not like actually learning what's going on and hearing about the Saviors and shit.
Well, none of there was more than just those 2 going out ranging, or there was, he would go out with different people, but nobody came back with intel on, like, and they say, like, we spend time studying people to find out whether or not they're good candidates to bring back. We study from afar, like if these are the cases, like, come on, like, you're horrible at your fucking job.
Great to see Igor in the live chat. Glad you're doing great. Shockboy Chipper said, Team Mo. Joe, that's exactly why I cheer with the death of every Alexandria, and those idiots are the downfall of this show. Shockboy says he didn't get a chance to grow sorghum pancakes. And funny fucking shit. Okay, so now that we got through a little bit of that, I do want to ask you a couple questions about maybe some of the things you liked or some of the things I liked. Did you enjoy the Negan and Rick fight? Can you agree that Negan's the best part of this episode?
Negan's the worst part of every episode. There is not a single episode that he's in that he opens his mouth that he's on my screen where I say he's.
So you haven't warmed up to him at all in
not one bit. Jeffrey D. Morgan has done absolutely nothing for me. The character's written like shit. His dialogue is shit. It's as Abraham put it, he is a shit swimming through a river of shit that got shit on by Gimple.
I just want to say one comment before it rolls by. Duck says, stop pointing out the logic flaws. It's going to ruin everything. Stop. Right. Unfortunately, it's not a road trip with zombies. It's about crumbling of civilization, stupid dialogue, the faces montages. Forgive me my spelling, typing in the dark while fapping. It's okay. It's okay. Fap away, Swordstone. I am too. You can't see below the screen. Don't worry. Yes, Negan saved the episode for me. He made it exciting. Shame, Joe. That's how I feel a little bit. The Negan Rick fight, like when Rick's like, "Do you ever shut up?" and he's yelling back at him, and them getting into a fist fight. I actually enjoyed that scene. I can't lie.
For him to run away and not kill Negan again.
I didn't say the conclusion was good, Joe. I think just the action in the scene was entertaining for me to watch. And I think in a relatively dull episode that had me not feel a lot of things, Jeffrey D. Morgan eating scenery at least made me chuckle a couple times.
Like Rick walks right into town, no guards anywhere, none of the Neganites fucking floating around, walks right into a house that he and 3 of his lackeys went to. If you remember, he had 3 people walking with him when he went off to go, I'm going to go make spaghetti in Rick's house. Yeah, because I'm so cool.
Because I said that in another episode. Because I said,
call back to spaghetti in Rick's house.
You hear this callback, everybody? He might have just like did a Zach Morris timeout there. Timeout, guys. You get that callback? I said it in another episode.
Yeah.
Because he broke the wall earlier in the episode in the face montage when everyone else is like in character looking around, and then they go to Negan's character and he's just looking at the camera like.
This is awful.
So you didn't like the Negan and Rick fight at all?
No, it was it.
Did you like Eugene in this episode? Was there any part of this episode that you enjoyed?
There was absolutely nothing in this episode that I enjoyed. Absolutely nothing from scene after scene. Like, Phil, I'm telling you, there hasn't been anything about The Walking Dead that I've enjoyed in a long fucking time. It's sad. It's really sad. Like, at this point, no, I am not a fan of this show. I'm going to come straight out and fucking say it. I'm not. I was a big fan. Big fan, you know, big fan. But at this point of the show, I think I am. I really don't. The music is going to make me cry, Phil. It really is. I mean, it's.
Wait. I'll do better.
It's hard to come out and say every day that wow, the cinematography was great. The makeup was great. Those walkers looked so realistic. The acting was wonderful from so many of the characters. How many times can you say that in a row and be like, but the writing fucking sucked. The producing, other than those other things, was kind of crappy. I don't understand any character motivation of any of the fucking characters whatsoever. Like, right down to Michonne's leaving the compound, even though she's like, I'll protect the Alexandrians. And then she's like, all right, we've been sitting here for 12 hours. I gotta go see the saviors. And like, nobody is back. None of our warriors are back at the compound. And Carl's out fucking picking his ass with some stranger. Good thing we left him in charge.
So I don't want to belabor the point, and Dux makes a good point in the live chat right now. But a couple more quick things, and we're not going to cut this up. This podcast is gonna live like this. So we can if people have more Walking Dead questions as we change the subject, we can definitely get to it at the end. If anyone wants to call and leave a voicemail for any questions, we can take voicemails at the end or text at 781-990-8509. But Joe, last question, and it might be a simple one for you. And I'm going to talk about this question for myself later in a collaboration cast I'm going to be doing soon. Then I'll talk a little bit more about later once the details are hooked up. But I'm curious for your standpoint, because this is probably the last time we'll hear you talking about The Walking Dead till I force you to continue doing this in the second half of the season. But is there anything at this point The Walking Dead can do in the second half of the season to get you back as a fan? And legitimately, like tangible things, or anything that you could see that they could do?
I don't know, but if they were going to kill off a fucking character that was going to remain in the books past this war, they killed off the wrong fucking one, that's for sure. They have to just blow it all up. I think they got to get rid of Gimple. If this was Gimple's season, if Gimple had anything to do with the fucking dumpster, that dude needs to be fired and fucking blacklisted. He needs to go back to school, or he needs to
and we're not talking about Rodney Dangerfield movie. That's fucking awesome. He needs to go to he needs to. I hear what you're saying. So you're saying you need them to completely blow it up, get a new production team in there, show proactively that they understand that people are that a general fan base is running away from it. And it's not just us. A lot of people want to go, you guys are too negative about the show. A lot of people are feeling this, and the ratings for The Walking Dead is the lowest it's been since. Someone said this in the comment section. I'm sorry if I misquote the facts, but it's something like it's the lowest it's been since season 2 or 3 or something like that.
Here's how you know the show has gone so far fucking downhill that if this was 3 years ago, if this was any other point, and one of our main original cast members died, you wouldn't be hearing about, oh, they fired him because he's going to college and his dad put out this tweet. You would be hearing outrage. You would be hearing, oh my gods. You would be seeing articles everywhere that weren't just focused on the behind the scenes drama. It would be focused on the actual drama that is The Walking Dead and the characters that we lost and all this shit. But you don't hear any of it because nobody gives a shit that we lost this character. Like the stark difference between like the water cooler talk after a character dies normally in the past and Carl dying, it's like non-existent. Nobody gives a shit. Millions and millions of viewers have stopped watching over this season. Millions.
The last two, but this season's bleeding ratings like a sieve.
Like every episode sees like 2 points down, 2 points. They lose so many, such a percentage of their own. And like you're talking about people who have been fans for the entire 7-year run. And
I don't think, in fairness, I don't think they're stopping watching the show. Just like someone asked, Joe, are you going to be back in the second half? I'll answer that for you. Of course he's going to be back in the second half. He's like, I don't know about that, Phil. But ultimately, I think what's becoming of The Walking Dead is that at this point in time, the way television's delivered, the way people gobble up their entertainment, to force yourself to fit into a time schedule, to have to watch a show when it's on live and like live it up, build it up every week, talk about the show week to week and get into it and watch it versus, oh, wait for the whole thing to be posted on Hulu or Amazon or Netflix and stream the whole series season when it's done. And I think The Walking Dead, all these people that aren't watching it anymore aren't necessarily abandoning the show 100%. It's just the show is going to not, and I'm not using this term for NBC of the 90s, but must-see TV or week-to-week entertainment that you have to watch week to week because you can't miss a moment of the show and you don't want to be spoiled. Like it's at this point, it's when the possible extremes are going to happen. They're very predictable. It's either going to be in the
show. Absolutely, there's nobody dying in episode. Nobody important is going to die in episode 4.
It's going to be in 8 or 1. And it's probably not even going to be that big, and you can watch it later, many weeks and months later in a binge, and probably enjoy it a lot more.
And here's the thing: if no, you will not.
I think I'd enjoy it more as a binge.
I don't think you would. I think you're missing a big part of with this show and with the time periods they make you wait. They give you 8 episodes, they make you wait 6 months. They give you 8 episodes, they make you wait 8 months. They give you 6 episodes. The way they keep doing this, right? Like I said, if you were to sit down and binge last season, you were watching 6 hours of Negan talk fuckface. Almost out of
No, Joe. I wish it's poop face. Poopy. I wish it was fuck face.
Shitting pants on. Like you're like of the 16 hours you're watching, or like the 8 hours back half of the season, you're gonna be watching 6 hours of Negan talking. That's gonna fucking kill you. You're gonna see if you were to sit down and be like, all right, I'm gonna do 7 seasons this week. Let's do it. I got the week off. You're gonna see the exact loop they got you fucking running in, and you're not gonna be happy with it. You're gonna be like, oh my god, this is the exact same half a season I watched last half.
It's going to be interesting, and I just want to say this, not that it will ever happen, but it might happen. Future viewer, if you're or a listener of this podcast, if you ever listen to this later and you binge watch this point, definitely leave a comment many years in the future. I'm very curious about that. Timo donated $20 in Super Chat. Joe's sounding depressing. I think he needs a drink. Did you like the red machete, Joe?
Hold on. Oh.
Okay. Joe's going to go get it. Joe's going to go get a drink. He's going to handle drinking duties, and I'm going to spin the wheel for you, Timo, but we're just going to have it land on Joe drink, and then we're going to spin it a second time, and Joe drink. So it was 2 Joe drinks for Timo, and Timo, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go into the live chat while Joe sets up his shots for Timo, and thank you so much, Timo.
You want some tequila?
And put the future viewer music. Phil, it's fuckface if you buy the Blu-ray. Thank you, Atari Dad. And we got Nick DS in the live motherfucking chat. And it happened off camera 2 weeks. Noah had a better death. Right on, Timo. More importantly, it was dumbass, unimportant. Notice there's no newer characters you give a fuck about, so there's only a few alive you do, and that's why it's hard to give a fuck about if anyone else dies. I think the only new character I somewhat gave a shit about, but they ruined it with lack of attention to his story, is Aaron. I legitimately liked Aaron, and I thought his character had a lot of potential that they just bumbled.
They fucking abandoned him. Everybody was like, yeah, Daryl had dinner with fucking
Aaron and Eric.
And then they're like,
He's gonna be a whole storyline. He's gonna move in there. He's become part of their family. It's gonna be real deep. We're gonna learn more about Daryl, getting a friendship with him, and actually get to hear more about his relationship with Merle through that, and yada yada yada, or whatever. Like, there was all this possibility that they could have explored if they took their time in the good way, and not take their time by like having everything last a day, so you can't do any character development.
Chase Enid's panties through the fucking forest like he shouldn't be going out alone. He should have been bit back then.
So have a good night, Justin Thomas. Thank you so much for being on in. Welcome, SM Down. Jay, great to have you. And okay, now we're going to start to change things up right here, but this does not mean we can't go back and talk about The Walking Dead a little bit more later. So definitely.
Bill, you can never go back.
Speaking of Lost, Cadigan said something about last week. I don't want to go back to the island. I don't want to go back to that. But we may drag Joe back there before the end of the show. And so if anyone has any Walking Dead questions, you can definitely text them in or leave a voicemail 781-990-8509, or at the end of the show, pop them in the live chat when we open up the chat one more time. So the next part of this, if you want to fucking hear what the fuck this motherfucker thought, we're going to get into.
What did Joe think? What did Joe think? What did Joe think? Was it good or did it really fucking stink? Everybody. What did Joe think? What did Joe think? What did Joe think? Was it alright or did it drive him crazy?
Okay, so before we go on to the better show, Joe, you didn't answer Timo's question though. Are you enjoying the red machete?
Whatever it was that happened this week in the red machete made me like it a little bit more. Oh, the wandering zombie. Who took it out of the zombie's face?
Oh, Mayor Joe Hale.
That's right. That, and I was like, Mayor Joe!
And he says claimed. It was the best part of this Walking Dead season. That moment right there was the best part of the whole Walking Dead season.
Yes, it was. I agree. That was fun. I did. That tied it all together, and that made me happy for that webisode thing. Again, like I've said, the webisodes, right from the beginning, they've been really good. And these are just the webisodes. They're just throwing them up in between commercials now because people don't pump them enough to tell you to go check it out at their website, and they stop telling you to and stuff. But
So to get into the second half of our discussion here, the second part of our discussion, we're going to talk about this most recent episode of Vikings called The Plan. And I'm going to do, I forget where I got this article. I just did Vikings episode recap sort of thing. And I'm going to quickly read through the episode because I think it's been a while since Joe and I thought about it. And I definitely want to get Joe's thoughts on this particular episode. I'm not sure how much of it he remembers. This week's episode of Vikings was called The Plan. Some of the characters have plans. Bjorn Ironside is on the ladder. So we get to see Bjorn on his adventure. What do you think of what we got to see of Bjorn so far this season?
I'm excited to see more, but I'm bored with it right at the moment.
So it's not, you're wanting to get back to the more of the action stuff in this moment. I actually liked some of the visuals that we got, but I can definitely see where you're going. It's slow building.
Here's the thing. After this last episode of Vikings, I didn't get to catch it on time, so I had to wait for it on demand. And I put on demand, and it said, "Now this was the thing. This is what made me realize." It said 2 hours on demand, and I was like, that was my response when I saw that it was a 2 hour long episode. Now, it wasn't a 2 hour long episode. History Channel just tried to fucking squeeze in that night bullshit so they could get you to watch it and get you hooked. So they played it on demand, immediately rolling after The Walking Dead. They basically DVR'd the whole 2 hours and put that up on demand rather than separating it. So I thought, why did that make me feel like that? Why? Because as much as I like it and it's entertaining, it is not Vikings anymore. It does not have that one pivotal character whose story I actually give a shit about. I don't care about 2 of the 3 brothers. And the one I do care about, I think he's kind of fucking psycho. I'm not really big on the actor. And Bjorn Ironside's story's gotten stale. And what's going on back in Kattegat, I don't really give a shit about. I want to see the fine hair brother, and I want to see Bjorn Ironsides, and I want to see Rollo. I like the Floki shit, but they're not giving me enough of it, and it's kind of weird right now. His 5 minutes in the beginning, 5 minutes in the middle, 5 minutes. I'm just not that excited for the Vikings.
Interesting take. I didn't think you were going there. It's
that it hit me that
I'm gonna try not to, because this show, the show that we're doing right now is called What Did Joe Think? So I want to kind of keep my thoughts, and we'll wait to the next Viking recap that we do to get into it a little bit more. But I feel almost a little, and Timo just said in the chat too, I feel like I thought I was going to feel the way that you're feeling, but I'm surprised that I'm not. I'm really into Ivar, and I'm on board with him as a main character.
I don't mind psychos. There's no fucking depth to them. They're all they're cookie cutters. They really are. They're like, oh, in order to be psycho, I gotta.
He Mel eyeballs a lot, no doubt.
He
rigs it up. He totally rigs it up.
It can't be, and it just seems like that's what you got to do. Like, you can be scary without having to be all fucking stupid about it. Like yeah, the moment when he's on the ground in the episode before and he's screaming, it's a war, it's a battle, he's bloody, okay. That comes off as psycho. It came off good. It came off fine. But like the I have to be menacing towards my brother with like look at him under my eyelids, whatever the expression. Like it just feels. None of them have the charisma to carry it. I'm sorry. There's nobody on this show that has the charisma to carry this show. And that's why we're spending so much time with so many different characters right now. They have really broadened up the stories that they're telling. So
people in the live chat are relatively
depth with anything. It's all shallow and it's all over the place. We have 5 main stories going on. There's a reason why we haven't seen Rollo yet, because if you threw in a Rollo storyline on top of it, oh my God, like you wouldn't get any time. We're getting no substance in any of this shit. And none of it, like as much as the story is moving, yeah, finally we're in the Mediterranean, or finally she's going to marry fucking dude. Like, have you been avoiding me? I couldn't wait any longer. How long has she been avoiding him? How long has he been waiting? Like, we have no fucking concept of how long it's been. So the line kind of falls stale. It's like, has it been a day, a week, a month? How long have you been there for?
No, and you make fair points. I guess I just enjoy watching the kid Ivar. Again, I guess it's the Walking Dead sort of thing with Negan to a point. I like watching him eat scenery up, and I'm enjoying the blood play, the laugh, the moments that.
Why should we be afraid of him? Why should we be afraid of him? Why? He's a fucking cripple. Yes, he can fight, but it's like sneak attack kind of fight. Like, I think both his brothers could probably fucking kill him. These 3 kids running around when he's like woof woof, and the kid gets up and storms out of the fucking room, and he like shoulders through 2 fucking Vikings that are each a fucking whole head taller than him. Why would anybody? They're Ragnar's sons. Yeah, they're his sons. They're his little fucking boys. They're not men. They don't look like men. They don't act like men. They don't come off like fucking men. They come off, all of them, with the exception at this point now of Bjorn Ironside, they all come off like little fucking boys, and it's awful. It's god fucking
interesting.
awful.
Oh, Joe going completely against what I thought.
I am. The more you got me opening up about it, the more I realized just how bad they are.
So this all
don't carry the
all came from you not being happy that there was a 2 hour or being unhappy that there was 2 hours. So you knew that was something wrong. So you explored you tell me how you feel, Joe.
No, I had to know. Like I did. I've been thinking about it, and when I saw that it was 2 hours long on demand, it made me really start thinking about what was wrong with the show.
Timo is shaking her fist at the screen at you right now. Carriage says, I love the complexity of the Byzantine civilization, which they are just hinting at. I like the English side of York. I like Lagatha, period. Let's not kid ourselves. Ivar can't carry the show. It's bad casting, says X Sword Stone. King McKay says, so many hashtag Team Ivars in my comments, but low-key don't like Ivar that much as a character. Timo, again, more shaking a shame bell and cursing at the screen at you. I hate the princess. I miss Rollo, but I don't want to see her, so I'll sacrifice Rollo. Swordstone says Princess Frogmouth Timo, only good for one thing. Catagate says fine hair grew on me, but he's pretty cool. I'm going to cheer for Lagatha when the Civil War starts. Ubi is hot, says Timo. Detroit Lion says fine hair is the next Ragnar. He's kind of looking a lot like Ragnar too in scenes. He probably looks visually the most like Ragnar in the show at the moment. Timo says the other one is Lapdog Woof Woof, and Ivar exploits both of them because he's smarter. And I think that's one of the things that we're supposed to understand about Ivar, even if for you, Joe, it's not necessarily coming through on screen, is that he's a head smarter than everybody out there and in kind of a step ahead from a military tactics standpoint. And
and why?
Because he's Ragnar's son.
How many people has he learned with? Oh, the Romans had some interesting tactics. Really? You learned to read Roman? You learned to read Latin? Really? Okay.
Aslog taught him. Aslog
taught him to read Latin.
Sure,
all Latin books that are left there written in old fucking English lettering or whatever, like not written in runes or whatnot. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Or did other people in the camp tell him about, in the army tell him about this shit? How did he come up with any of these plans? Are we sure he's the fucking smart one? So many fucking questions. None of them answered. None of them shown to us. Just, why are we burning these bodies? Shut up, lapdog. I'm not telling you, and I'm not telling my audience. Ha ha! Go fuck yourselves. I'm smarter than everybody. It doesn't. It falls flat. He can't carry it off. It's bad. It's bad.
So you're not feeling Vikings right now, is what you're saying after this last episode.
I'm not feeling much of any TV.
No, right, and I'm noticing that, Joe. You're.
I watched. Okay, so you know there was that Kingdom, something Kingdom. It's like the Vikings knockoff, right? There's a King Alfred in it.
You mean Nightfall? Was it? Are you talking about
Nightfall? That's the thing that comes afterwards. It was another Kingdom of something or something Kingdom. It's basically Vikings, only there's a different Alfred, a different Ragnar, and it's Ragnar's son. It's weird. Ragnar dies in the last Kingdom. Thank you, Ion Trone. So the guy that plays King Alfred in that was in another series and believe me, if you check this out, if you even look at the IMDb for the series called Banished, the amount of faces you're going to see in this, you're going to be like, holy shit, I like him, I like him, I like him, I like him, or I recognize him. He plays a guy in so he's in the series called Banished, along with one of the Train Spotting guys, along with one of the 300 guys, along with you'll recognize a lot of people in this. And it came out a couple of years ago. It's a BBC Worldwide or some shit. And we watched the one season they made of it, 8 episodes or something like that. And when it ended, I was like, holy shit. This is there's some problems to it. I can't say that it's a perfect series, but I was like, no wonder they didn't pick this up again. I am fucking sad right now. How do you end a whole season and leave your entire audience just fucking bummed? Straight up fucking like, what the fuck? I could go my wrist right now, and I would just, I don't think I'd be sad. Like,
what show is this?
So sad. It's called Vanished. And like the acting in it is really good. The writing is really good. But they only made 8 episodes. They kind of set it up to be more, but
Timo has a present for you that she just sent in for your opinion on Vikings tonight. Here we go.
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
But yeah, I am definitely having a problem with television lately.
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
So what? And I stress to ask you this question as well that I asked you in this. Is there anything in this episode of Vikings that you were feeling?
Yeah, I did like this. There's a lot about it that I do like. I'm not trying to say that it's all bad. I like the cinematography.
No,
it's wonderful. The music is great.
go fuck yourself. No, but what you're really missing is
I'm just really missing Ragnar. He was he was what got me into the show. He's what kept me in the show, and
fair point.
He carried the show, and everybody else was really good and played really well with him. But this show, nobody can deny that it is really seriously lacking. It's charismatic lead actor. I'm sorry, that little fucking cripple is not it.
Because I guess the only argument I could go against you right now, Joe, in this, like I said, this is the What Did Joe Think show. So I'm gonna back off a little bit on this, but I'd say my only argument would be that the show right now doesn't necessarily have a central star. It's a ensemble piece, and now that Ragnar's gone, I like the time distribution between all the locations where you don't have to spend as much time with Ragnar because he's such a gravitational force. So you can bounce around to a lot of different locations. And I'm actually enjoying that about Vikings this season. And I think I'm enjoying this first half more than last season's first half with the drug addiction Ragnar storyline.
Katie just scolded me for calling him the little cripple boy. She said I'm not allowed to call him that anymore. I just couldn't think of his name. I couldn't think of it. Now I'm sorry, all you little crippled boys out there.
And
it's even worse. See, you people got me drunk. I didn't mean the you people thing.
Live motherfucking chat. Detroit Lion says, "Did you know that Edge from WWE is in the next episode?"
Doesn't mean I'm not drunk.
Timo, you got Joe drunk and he's ranting. People, you guys all asked for this. What does Joe think episode? You know, this is
you don't want to know what Joe thinks.
You all wanted this. You all want this. I even recorded a song for you guys. Yeah.
What did Joe think? What did Joe think? What did Joe think? Was it good or did it really fucking stink? What did Joe think? What did Joe think? What did Joe think? Was it alright or did it drive him crazy?
Yeah, and I make this face and these sounds when I'm gonna do shots at bars too. You should see the women flock for me.
Oh my god. Timo says yes. Timo, Stephanie and I were talking about that today as we recorded it. We like how it came out so much. We're going to add some verses to it, but we need another verse. We don't give a shit what he thinks or something. I was going to say Joe plays with a shrinky dink or something, but we'll workshop it. It'll be longer eventually. That's kind of a tease for the song at this point. If you guys have any lyrics, put it in the comment section that you want in the What Does Joe Think song, and then we'll add them in. Love to get your comments and questions. Timo, get back some of that hate on Joe for his opinion right now if you want. But if anyone disagrees with Joe, let us know in the comment section. We're going to stop.
Disagrees with Joe.
Did you say everybody does?
Everybody disagrees with Joe until I explain it properly and they realize they were wrong.
Unfortunately, Ragnar in Vikings isn't the same as losing Sean Bay in Game of Thrones. At least Joe will never have to worry about serving jury duty.
Oh, see, here's the thing. So I mentioned Banished being very sad at the end, right? I'm going to spoil Banished for everybody because it's already 2 years old. So
Okay,
Like,
well, wait, let's set it up. If anyone doesn't want to be spoiled for Banished, please mute the video for about a minute.
yeah. So one of the main guys dies at in the end of the first season, and immediately I was like, it really fucking bummed watching everybody watching this episode. I was really fucking bummed about it. Like, it just felt not at the loss of the actor, but of the character dying, of the way they made you feel about this character, and then him being gone. It kind of hurt. It kind of made you feel really sad. When Sean Bean died on The Walking Dead, on Game of Thrones, you were more shocked and stunned. You weren't necessarily sad, because you felt largely the way Arya felt in that moment. You were filled with rage, with shock, with a little bit of sadness, but you had what's his name there telling you were a stupid boy and to shut your mouth and to get on with it. It's a different feel. It was a real fucking
So just to go back to hook this back into Vikings, Joe, I think that's one of the things I'm actually feeling in Vikings right now through Ivar, his rage for everything that happened to his father, and his sons trying to find their name in the basis of what Ragnar was. And where I'm finding enjoyment in the show is in watching the world that Ragnar has left and seeing all these characters that some knew, some I'm liking more than others. Some have their moments that are more entertaining than others, and some I do care about intensely, like Lagatha and Floki, and I'm more on dreamy, visioning, questy kind of stuff than you are. So I'm loving all the Floki stuff. The Floki stuff is the highlight of each episode for me. He's killing it from an acting standpoint, and I think everything looks beautiful, and I like what they're doing with Floki.
I'm really enjoying the Floki stuff too. I told you before last week, I was like, if that was him dying, I was fine with it. It was beautiful. If it's not, I was fine with it. It was beautiful. Like, either way, I'm more than okay with any of the Floki shit. But as far as Ivar, he doesn't come off as anything but a little shitheel, a little fucking brat that half of these guys would chop in half in a heartbeat.
Does he need to grow a beard? I'm kidding.
I don't know what he fucking needs to do, but not be him. Maybe a different actor. I don't know exactly, but written differently, written not to be a whiny, like a snide little fucking shitheel. Like, seriously, this is the kid that would be flipped out of his wheelchair in the middle of fucking high school hallways between classes.
So you think he needs to get a little less douchey and a little bit more commandery?
Like, people behave like this, and he literally, jocks would be walking up behind him, flipping him out of his fucking chair.
The alpha betas, the fucking what was it? What Igor? Not Igor. What was the fucking what was his name? The Revenge of the Nerds.
What?
the big bad guy, ogre. Like ogre. So let's go. Joe just hates TV right now. Let's go. The Walking Thrones airing now on History Channel. Says Kick for K. Split Jaw. Oh my God, you guys are still alive. I got 2 questions for you and Joe. So right now, if anyone has any questions in the live motherfucking chat, pop them on in here about The Walking Dead or about Vikings. We'll talk about either show or any other random entertainment questions we will definitely talk about right now for a little while before we call this a podcast. Thank you to everyone that joined us for this show about what Joe thinks. But you have those questions, you disagree with something Joe said, now's the time. If you want to leave a voicemail, you can do it if you want, 781-990-8509. You can also text that line, 781-990-8509. Tell Joe why he's wrong. He loves to hear that. And so yeah, what Phil said. Carl started limping. Oh my God, you guys are still alive. I have 2 questions for you. Carl started limping from when he fell down the ladder in the episode, and
Why did him fall down a ladder?
When he's talking to Negan and he like slides down the ladder, and after he's talking to Negan, and then he just suddenly starts limping. Do you think that Carl's acting? Basically, one of my questions is, do you think Carl's acting had something to do with him being fired from the show?
I wouldn't be surprised. As far as I'm concerned, he's a horrible fucking actor. Like this is a kid that grew up and had every chance to learn and to absorb from the people around him. And I feel like every time he's on screen, I feel like he's memorized his lines and he's spitting them out. I'd be curious to see how many takes they do over and over again with him delivering lines, because I think he is
so you think part of maybe why they fired him is maybe because of some of the stuff that the Carl character could have had to go through, and they decided that maybe they didn't want to do that with Chandler?
Maybe. I think when you cast a child actor, you're rolling the dice. Are they going to come out pretty when they get older? Are they going to be ugly when they get older? Are they going to be able to act and not just get by on cuteness and like we could keep his mouth shut because he's a kid and nobody really gives too much shits about what the fuck he has to say in the
it's always interesting when you cast a baby or a small child and then they grow up with the other actors in the show, and then you get to the point where do you recast the kid or can the kid actually start acting? And
waiting for Carl to start acting, and he didn't.
So to answer your question, Split Jaw, Joe says maybe. Timo says maybe Joe had some stale sandwiches or Floki. Sword Stone says I like Floki, but he laughs too much. We get it. You're fucking crazy. Cadigan asks, what does Joe think about the cinematography of Vikings?
It's fantastic. Are you kidding me? It's always been fucking amazing when they go to new places and you see this. The cinematography is amazing. I think that's kind of a rhetorical or a joke question.
No, I think someone wanted to hear you say something good, probably.
I already said that, didn't I?
Yeah, but then they wanted to hear you. They wanted you to be happy there, Joe. To think about something happy for a second. Think happy thoughts, Peter Pan. Splitjaw also asks, I've also seen theories that state because he was bit on the top of his shirt, he's not infected. If you watch closely, they are correct, and his shirt has a bite mark on it in 7/7. So we hinted at this earlier, Joe. Do you think there's any way the show could wiggle their nose in a Samantha Bewitched kind of way and decide not to have Carl die?
Carl's got cloth protection.
he was wearing Kevlar. The shirt was Kevlar.
Everybody else who gets bit through their clothing dies, but Carl.
Sure.
Okay, sure. Maybe they did. Maybe they had Chandler's dad put out this text and false stories of college and they fired my son and I don't trust them, just so they could resurrect him.
And yeah, Phil, remember we thought Carl blew himself up before that. What do we think about grenade launchers blowing up an entire house, Joe?
A little ridiculous, but the fuck? When they blowing shit up, I'm fine.
Did you like Ivar's plan when with the rats by going underground at the end of the episode when they go underground in York and the rats are above?
Are we sure they are underground?
We're not positive. I think that's where they are.
Where are all the rats? Why are all the rats above ground? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they are or aren't, but they might be. If they are, I don't know if they really did that or not.
So Joe's not feeling it. That's another Joe's not feeling it. Good point on Joe on children casting. Cattigat says Joe. Brand's the perfect example. I miss cute Brand. Yeah, the casting Brand because he's cute, and then him growing into Brand. Igor says I said
way half his face, so you don't even get cute Carl anymore. And they don't want to spend the money on the makeup to make a black hole in the kid's skull. And they cover up half his face. They put that hat on him. You can't even see him. Carl is a fucking hat and an eye patch walking around and nothing else.
Igor also says
have any facial expression, for Christ's sakes, aside from sad and sullen.
Igor also says, I said before, Riggs probably couldn't have pulled off the future comic Carl storyline. Cattigat says, no, Joe, I really wanted your true opinion. That's all about the cinematography. Swordstone says, why am I being blocked from the chat every 5 minutes? Not enough HLA talk. I'll try my best. You're being blocked from the chat? Fuck no, dude. We know fucking chat can go fuck itself. Motherfucking chat knows. Motherfucking chat. Behave, motherfucking.
Stay away from racist bigotry and more praise towards me and you'll be fine. You won't be blocked.
Yeah, exactly. Joe has a filter on that if someone doesn't say Joe is always right every like two minutes at least once.
You have to give me STFU, Joe, or
you immediately get blocked. Yeah, if You're allowed to say fuck Phil as much as you want. One anti-Joe comment.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. This is Joe's house. This is Joe's show. This is the What Did Joe Think show. Phil doesn't have any power here, assholes. Yeah, Joe is happy. Sandwiches for everybody. He's immune. Cotton is the cure. We need more kinky sleens with the nuns and the bishops. Remember, the Romans did build sewers. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking it's the sewers as well, Ducks. Bottoms up, motherfucking chat. Riggs old man sells tours and autographs. He's missing out on future cake, and that's why he's upset about everything. Great to see Tim F in the live chat. Oh my god, if they keep Carl alive for some stupid ass reason, I don't know if I could stick with this show. Let's go. We got one voicemail and we got one.
He was actually bit by a raccoon that was hiding in the log that they had stretched him out over, not by one of the walkers.
Here we go. Oh shit. No, this I have to get something up. Excuse me. We do have a voicemail to play. And we had a comment that was someone texted me about something.
So you got to learn to keep it up, not having to keep getting it back up.
So
I mean, I know you're getting older, but
I am getting older. That becomes more difficult as the weeks and months go on, Joe. And so here we go. Let's listen to this. I believe this is from our buddy Hannibal.
Hey, what's up? It's Hannibal. I was just thinking, if you were face to face with a walker and you just cracked him in the fucking face, right, with your fist, and you caught him on the teeth, and he just happened to catch your fucking knuckle,
you're
you
dead.
think that would turn you?
Yep. Yep.
This is, I don't know.
Yep.
I think it might. I don't know. You can
Yep.
put some hydrogen peroxide on it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
You're dead. Dead, gone. That's a fight bite. It's called a fight bite. Right? When you punch someone and you in the mouth and you break a tooth, it's called a fight bite. Bite means dead.
Fight bite, motherfucker. Oh yes, yes it would, said Catagate. Swordstone says I'm not gonna say fuck Joe. I hate both you guys.
I don't know. Shit, if I can catch AIDS by brushing my teeth and having my gums bleed and then kissing some prostitute that I picked up, then yeah. Then yeah.
Joe says yes. Confirmed Tyrion time travel to Rome to design the new sewer system for Vikings. Timo says, like Mayor Joe, did he just pinch the walker and say claim? That makes it even more funny. When do you think the bishop gets killed? I think maybe at the end of this half a season. But who knows? I doubt he's a long-term character. But possibly I could. I'm enjoying his performance.
I'm sure he hopes he's a long-term character. He hasn't done much since he got out. He did The Tudors, and then he did that movie with fucking airplane Scientologist dude. And then we haven't really seen much from him since.
Airplane Scientologist dude, that could explain so many people.
Pulp Fiction guy.
Oh, Travolta.
Yeah, him.
Jeez, Travolta. No, you can't kill Bishop King Henry. The world claim triggers me for lost. Claim Temple Arc. Oh, fucking lost shit. Okay, so Joe, you're saying you're pretty down on most of the television you've seen. One last question from me. What was the last thing on TV that you saw that you really, really loved? Would it be Punisher?
See, I
or do you have issues with Punisher?
Netflix. No, we're gonna call Netflix television.
Yes, including Netflix and Amazon and Hulu series.
Well,
I
just told you I watched Banished. It was like we watched one episode to give it a shot, and then I was like, boom, 8 episodes. Boom. I had to go to work. I got home and I was like, finish them off. Like
I
really enjoyed the last season of Game of Thrones. I don't know. I'd have to rewatch our reviews to see if I actually remember enjoying it as much as I remember enjoying it.
You recently, not too long ago, we talked about this. You watched
Fear
the Walking Dead. You watched Westworld again, and you hated it just as much, but you're still tuned into season 2 at this point, so you can hate on it more.
But it's for different reasons. Like, it's not good TV. It's just I liked it.
Do you like? Are you excited for a new Black Mirror on Netflix?
No, I never finished season 2. Like, it's Twilight Zone. It's modern Twilight Zone, modern No Limits or Outer Limits, whatever it was called. So it's not new for me, and the stories aren't super new either. It's good.
And
I liked the first season of the first 2 seasons or so. I didn't watch this season of Mr. Robot.
And two quick shows. We have a question from Paul in the live chat, and I have a question for you as well. Stranger Things and Punisher for 2.
I like both Stranger Things seasons. I like season 2 a lot. I fucking was so upset Bob died.
Oh,
I'm sorry for that spoiler if you haven't watched Stranger Things season 2, and go fuck yourself if you haven't. And the Punisher was just fantastic. My thing is this, and it started with Jeff Jones. Maybe it started with Deadpool, or I don't know exactly where it fucking started. But here's the deal: I am so fucking sick and tired, and I can see it coming with The Walking Dead. How we will kill hundreds of fucking underlings and henchmen coming at us. But when we get to the main bad guy, we're going to take him in, or we're not going to fucking kill him. We're not just going to kill him. We're not going to torture him. We're not going to kill him. He's going to face justice. Why? What about the 400 henchmen you just murdered on the way to him? Oh, you didn't murder him. That was self-defense. You're allowed to murder the guy that sent him after you, too.
Rick needs to kill him 101, Joe.
Gun. Like, even if he doesn't have a fucking gun, you're allowed to kill him. He's the psychopath that sent 400 fucking henchmen to just kill you just now, that were shooting at you with guns and trying to stab you and killing your family or whatever the fuck they were doing, whatever the fuck henchmen do. You killed all of them, but you're not going to kill the main bad guy? Why? With Jess Jones, with Punisher, we don't have this issue of like, oh no, that's too evil for them to do. No, because everybody in the audience wants it done. Everybody. There's no redeeming quality. Finish off a fucking story. We don't need a goddamn fucking 6-month cliffhanger for some bullshit fucking new storyline, which happens to be the same fucking storyline because you cliffhanged your bad guy into next season. It's bullshit. And bullshit.
I agree with you about Punisher. Way to fucking go. And that leads us into probably the last thing we'll talk about a little bit, which is more topic about something that's happening right now that I'm very curious. We talked a little bit about this in the pre-show, and I'm just curious of your thoughts about this. The deal has gone through. There might be some problems with it, but I don't want to talk about the logistics of all the money transaction and everything. But Disney is buying 20th Century Fox, which means Disney's going to be getting a whole bunch of shit. It's. I can scroll down and start reading some of the stuff that Disney's getting. One of the things that Disney's getting is all the original Star Wars movies. So you might actually get releases of the original cuts. Yeah, the original cuts, because they're going to get that, so they're not necessarily be owned by
with Han stepping on 1/8 size Jabba the Hutt's tail.
Exactly, they're getting The Simpsons, Family Guy, This Is Us, Modern Family, Homeland, Empire, movies, Avatar, Star Wars, Deadpool, X-Men, Ice Age, Spider-Man franchise, whole bunch of shit that Disney is potentially getting here. Does this? And I know you like Deadpool, right?
Yep.
And I recently also saw the movie Logan for the first time. It just got added to HBO Go, and I was intensely into that movie. That was really fucking well done. I love the adult What was that?
Let me say it again for you. Oh,
okay. Joe didn't like that movie, but
I did not like it, but I didn't think it was as good as everybody else.
Oh, I don't think it's the greatest.
Little girl fucking sucked.
I don't think it was like the greatest movie of all time. What I was about to say is I really love the performance of Patrick Stewart, and
because let's get out on a fucking boat where we can't bring our fucking albino, and where he has his first fucking psychotic breakdown. We're all dead anyway. Like, it makes the.
Right, but that's neither here nor there. My point is that it's a movie that deals with like it's more of like an adult, fucks every other word. Are you at all worried about with owning some of these properties and fucking and fucking it up, Joe? Are you worried about Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Mickey Mouse as Ryan Reynolds joked about?
I'm not necessarily worried about that. Here's the thing: Disney is the owner, but Fox is still its own company, right? Like, Fox still has a president. They still have a board. They still have people that make the decisions for Fox.
But, Joe! But do you want a Simpsons park?
It took me a second to figure out what the fuck that was.
Do you want a Simpsons park at the park? Do you want Springfield?
My fucking my Carl. My sure.
Yeah, it's worse. It's worse.
I'm not worried about it. It's its own company. I think they'll be able to keep the integrity of what they want to keep for the shows they want to keep just fine. They'll relinquish some of their rights and properties and just hand them over to Disney to get some things under one roof, like Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, making sure all the Marvel crap, which is why they did this. Don't have any delusions that they cared about buying Family Guy.
No, they wanted to be able to do. They wanted to be able to do the Secret Wars and shit like that, and have this next phase after the Infinity Gauntlet thing be all these the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and the X-Men are so integral to these next Marvel stories that Disney probably wants to do if they keep wanting to crank these things out on a yearly basis. So they just want to get all these fucking properties under their belt. There's also some gaming stuff that they're getting and some other things as well.
They have they have what? The two biggest movie franchises in movie history. Three biggest movie franchises in movie history. They own all of the Star Wars franchises. They own now all of the X-Men and Marvel superhero movie franchises. And then they also own the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, which they're not going to be making anymore.
They're going to own Avatar now too.
Oh, yeah, but who cares? There was one Avatar.
But there's going to be two more, and they're going to be at least they're going to be pubbed really big. So it's just another potential. They could create an Avatar land. You know what I can do? I can create an Avatar land too. They're getting like all this sports shit too. They're going to be working on a sports streaming service, and FX, American Horror Story, Fargo, It's Always Sunny, National Geographic channels, Running Wild, Baby blah blah blahs. Star India and Mumbai includes dozens of television channels in several languages, including English and Hindi.
Yeah. They're huge.
They're getting Hulu. So you can expect all the 20th Century Fox stuff that's on Netflix to be switching over to Hulu. They're also getting Star, the European satellite TV giant. So they're getting a lot of fucking shit. So
I'm surprised that this deal was even approved by governments.
It's and not to get too into that, but it is being investigated. This essentially is destroying one of, like, if you think about it like the fucking mafia families in the Godfather, they're taking out one of the families. Two of the families are combining, and one of the big studios is essentially disappearing, and Disney is consolidating their forces. And I mean, that's why it's a little troublesome to some. I mean, I'm thinking about it more as an entertainment standpoint, and would I like to see Wolverine involved in some movies, or like to see some of these properties? I'm joking about it, but would I like to play with and go into Springfield Disney Park land or something like that? Of course. Am I excited for Star Wars land? It's hit or miss with me with it. You know, it is what it is. You know, you accept the Disney for the Disney element of it, but you got to hope that
how good the animatronics are. And
it also, you got to look at Disney with Marvel. Yes, they do put a hand in the Marvel movies, but they let Marvel micromanage their own bullshit. Star Wars is a little bit different. We were just talking about the Marvel universe, not the cinematic universe, but the television universe that fucking Punisher and Daredevil exists. Those aren't very fucking Disney friendly. And I'm hoping that at least, and when Touchstone Pictures exist, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of R-rated movies from Touchstone Pictures when Disney owned that. So it's not necessarily, I think, hopefully they'll use this as an opportunity to do some of the more of their adult products through Fox or something like that.
One of the big reasons why, I don't know if anybody out there who has watched the most recent Avengers series, not Avengers, Defenders series and Punisher series, you're going to notice the lack of intertwining it with the regular MCU like they started.
Right. No,
with-
there's a war, there's a somewhat of a war going on because the television series is doing it better.
Yeah, and they're doing it very well.
Minus
Netflix,
the Iron Fist.
unreal. It really.
Can they recast the? Is it too late to recast the Iron Fist?
What a horrible fucking.
Oh
cast.
fuck!
You know,
Can we?
and
Can we?
it's not
Can
like
we?
how bad of an actor he is. Really, it's just fucking awful. Get rid of this kid. He was a
Excuse me, everybody.
He was a pretty boy. They cast as a pretty boy in a series, a book series, who's fucking really kind of nothing throughout the fucking book series, and like, so they cast a pretty boy, and like all of a sudden he's famous and he can act. No, he can't act.
No, it's poor. And as much as I want to blame, Joe and I were talking about this a little off camera at one point, as much as you can blame the writing and say Iron Fist wasn't as entertaining as it could be from a writing and story standpoint, it's all the difference if the person in the starring role of that can actually carry a scene. And there's so many people, and I've joked about it before because I'm not a huge I'm not the biggest fan of this show, but like even the dude that played Arrow, if he was cast as the Iron Fist, it would have been a better show. If it was switched, like let fucking Loris go to Arrow and be on that pilot turd. And can we bring Oliver Queen over and be the Iron Fist? Can we trade? Can we do a trade? Because I'd be okay with it. Can we put Stephen Amell in the Iron Fist role? He's not perfect, but he would be a lot fucking better than this douche.
People that would be better than this guy. You could even like. You could have avoided a whole bunch of that whitewashing and white savior shit if you had just made him an Asian American rich kid from New York. Like they exist, you know. They're not. It's not like it had to be a white guy that went down over fucking Asia. His plane went down over Asia somewhere. Like, and that's a big thing to kind of get over. Like it really feels like if it is or isn't, whether it's true. I never really read any Golden Fish shit, so if it's true or not to the fucking comic books is kind of besides the point, because whatever years the fucking Iron Fist books were written, I'm sure there was a lot of fucking racial bias to begin with, and it was probably whitewashing and fucking and white savior shit going on in that book itself. So
Hack World jumps and says Iron Fist is a show I really can't even finish 5 minutes of. Shirtless Iron. Yes, Stephen Amell can play the part if he's shirtless. Tebow says, Straight Line says all the Marvel shows on Netflix suck and the movies suck too. Fuck Marvel. Check SNL skit about Avatar with Ryan Gosling. Pretty funny. Saturday Night Live sucks, but this was funny. So all in all, Joe, just
you know what else sucks, Phil?
What's that?
The Detroit Lions.
Oh, you're an asshole. So ultimately, Joe in full asshole mood, but everybody
had me some tequila. Not like I didn't say the Detroit Lions 100 suck. Just the actual Detroit Lions suck.
Yeah, except for
and, I mean, you can't argue with that. Like it's like saying the Cleveland Browns. It's
like trying to say the Cleveland Browns. It's like trying to say it.
Like the Cleveland Browns suck. You got to admit it. Even Cleveland would admit that their Browns suck.
And yes, Sword. I'm the immortal Iron Fist, not you. I am the immortal Iron Fist. Well, the Packers lost.
Yeah, fuck the Packers.
Well, Barry Sanders is still the greatest running back of all time. And
you can't argue with that. You can't argue.
He's fucking amazing.
Barry Sanders.
Yeah, he was fucking amazing, or at least in the top 5.
He was a Lion. Yeah.
He's amazing. Like, and he had no teams, and he was and he retired on top just because they wouldn't trade him to a cadet. Like Barry's amazing, one of the best running backs of all time. So different discussion altogether. But you guys wanted to know it. You heard it.
What did Joe think?
That's what Joe thought about The Walking Dead and Vikings. And we also talked a little bit about, so ultimately, Joe, any problems you have with this Disney takeover other than Disney playing a giant game of Monopoly, which isn't really fair at some level, but just from fuck all of that, I don't give a fuck about that. Just from us as watching entertainment, any of the 20th Century Fox stuff, do you think will be affected by this merger by Mickey?
I don't really think so. I think there might be a few other things that I can't think of right now that Disney has their eye in wanting to move from Fox over to the Disney fold. But certainly it can't be anything that I'm really interested in. I really hope they keep their fingers, like there's a reason you bought this company. and there's a reason you bought it for $52 billion. And that reason is because it's a successful company. That reason is because this company knows what it's doing, has been putting out entertainment now for a few decades, high caliber entertainment, not always, sometimes. And you trust that the people running this shit know what they're doing. So keep your hands out of the fucking Fox honeypot for a little while. Feel each other out. Get those materials that you want. Bring them over, like the comic book shit. And I don't know. I went through them a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, they ultimately, Joe's right. They just wanted to get two things out of this deal. They really wanted the Simpsons thing, and they really wanted the X-Men, Deadpool, or not necessarily Deadpool, but they really wanted X-Men and the Spider-Man, like own them straight out, so that they could do.
Fantastic Four.
What was that?
And the Fantastic Four.
And the Fantastic, yeah, especially the Fantastic Four. And because they want to bring all of them into their Marvel universes and stuff. So it was almost like if you go to like
cheap deal, dude. When you think about it, like people, $52 billion cheap for what they got, for the content that they got, Hulu, all this other shit, like that was cheap. That was a fucking
no, and we're looking at the valuation of the movies according to this article, and this is from the LA Times. 20th Century Fox Movies Studio, the valuation $13 billion. Fox Regional Sports Network, 22 regional cable channels, $22.4 billion. Now
they own football rights. They own probably a few years of broadcast football rights now.
They have Prime Ticket, Fox Sports West, Fox Sports San Diego, and Yes Network, amongst others. Domestic cable channels, they now own FX, FXX with American Horror Story, Fargo, Always Sunny. We talked about that. National Geographic channel is The Genius. This is another $9 billion. Then Fox Group's international cable channels, another $13.7 billion. And then Hulu, another $1.75 billion.
Yeah, Timo, you don't have to worry because they'll own Hulu. And that's already a streaming service you have to pay for.
But Disney is planning on launching two new streaming services, one that's sports related and one that's for all their content. Because ultimately what's going to happen now is in the next 5-10 years, you're not going to be able to own just a couple of the streaming services. It's almost like that now, where you have to own like all 50 of them to be able to watch all the shows that you want to watch. Like I want to watch Angel, and I can't watch Angel unless I get Hulu to watch Angel, or I can't watch Black Sails unless I get the Stars, or I can't watch Shameless unless I get Showtime, and I can't watch or eventually will come to Netflix, but then 2 months later, and then all these other shows are going to disappear to the point where all these individual platforms are just going to be individual channel thing for whatever the company owns. Like everything that Netflix owns, Netflix is eventually going to be 95% Netflix programming shows, and like all the movies and television shows and just that stuff. Amazon will probably always be the model that it is, for at least for a while, continuing doing regular programming and having anything that they can get license fees for. But then who's going to be individual programming just from like a certain program house that Disney wants, CBS All Access, and all that Star Trek bullshit that's going on. We can bitch about that a little bit. Like all those kind of things are going to be, you're going to have, it's going to be worse than cable. It's going to end up being more expensive than cable when it shouldn't have been, because people are cord cutting, but we need to get the money. And it is what it is, but I miss the days of having so many things on at least one of the couple of, back in my day when streaming started, you had to get one and you could get them all, and Hulu was free. Whatever, Joe. But Joe, thank you so much for joining us tonight to talk about this shit. And Joe and I will be back sometime towards the end of the week to talk about Vikings. I cannot do it on Wednesday night, but maybe on Friday afternoon or Thursday or something like that. I'll talk and figure out when Joe has off. And also Joe, Matt, and I, and the Bloody Talker from the live motherfucking chat are going to be getting together sometime next week to do our spoiler review of Star Wars: The Last Jedi after Joe and Matt have an opportunity to watch it. So look out for that next week as well. So, Joe, thank you so much, buddy.
Oh, my pleasure, buddy.
You fucking pal. Thank you, pal. Thank you for coming on. And everyone, you wanted to know what he thought, so here it is one more time.
What did Joe think? What did Joe think? What did Joe think? Was it good or did it really fucking stink? What did Joe think? What did Joe think? Was it alright or did it drive him to drink?
Everyone says good stream, Joe, except for Joe being wrong on Vikings. Other than that, it was a good stream, buddy. Joe's always wrong. And everybody, if you haven't already and you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. If you disagree with us, let us know in the comment section below.
Joe's wrong on the Lions.
or leave us a voicemail or a text.
I made a fan there.
At 781-990-8509 to let us know where we're fucking wrong. We love to hear your opinions. And we'll try to be back at least every 2 weeks, even in the break, minus maybe some holidays and some bullshit with Joe every time he has a Sunday off work with more of What Does Joe Think? We'll keep this going. But everyone, thank you so much. And thank you to everyone in the live chat, Detroit's Ian, Hack World, K. Rich, E. Martinez, Timo. Thank you so much for the super chat generosity, Timo. Detroit Lions, again, thank you so much. And yes, horrible call in that game. And don't talk to me about that, Al. Great to see Al, Red Sox fan. Great to see everyone in the live motherfucking chat. We will talk to you guys next time. Later.
Peace.